Hi, Scott the Astro Manager here, and we're going to continue the discussion on email management. And now that we figured out how to reduce the amount of emails, the clutter you have incoming into your inbox, now we're going to start talking about how to process those and set up a system so that you're dealing with those emails that do come in efficiently. So I want to start off by talking about the getting things done approach. Now, if you Google Getting Things Done, GTD, David Allen, who wrote the book several years ago, there's lots of information. And this is a pretty old system, so it's pretty well known. It's fairly standard. It's also, I think, there are aspects of it that we've sort of grown beyond, and I personally have sort of put aside some aspects of it. But there's a number of good aspects, and I think the basic tenet behind it is very useful. So we're going to introduce kind of a GTD light approach. We go into a little more detail in the task management class. But for now, we're just going up with the introduction of what GTD is and how to apply that to your inbox. The basic concept of GTD is trying to free your mind from having to remember a bunch of different things. Our brain is not good at remembering multiple things at once. How many times have you know you had to go to the store to get some milk or something? And you'll always remember, of course, when you're not there. And so you get in the car and you drive someplace and you're driving right past your store. You don't even remember that you need to go get something. Or how many times at work do you remember something you need to do when you're at home, or home and you need to remember to do it at work? So our brain remembers these things, but it doesn't fire them back at the right time. It's not very good at reminding us at the right time. Researchers have found that basically humans are good at remembering about seven plus or minus two things at a time. And they've done multiple experiments, and what I remember reading about was they had people try and memorize 7-digit numbers, and then they had a conversation, and during that conversation they offered them snacks. Those who were trying to remember 7-digit numbers as opposed to fewer digits preferentially chose unhealthy snacks. Now maybe that's a good thing, but the researchers interpreted this as being, right, people make bad decisions when your brain is too full trying to remember other things. And so when they had lower digit numbers to remember, they chose more healthy, better snacks. So they made better decisions. So if you apply that to real life, the more things you're trying to juggle in your mind, that takes energy, and that takes concentration, and that leaves you unable to focus and make the right decisions or really get involved in the task at hand. It's also because we don't remember to do things at the right time. It's also not very good at ensuring you don't drop the ball and ensuring that you keep forward. So the Getting Things Done approach is really about getting things out of your brain into a trusted system. And that trusted system allows your brain to relax. It knows that you've got something here that you can recall when you need it, and it doesn't have to worry about it anymore. It has to be a trusted system. If you just put it into something that you don't trust or you don't use, it's not going to work. So we're going to talk about how to build that trusted system, again, in a light way for email and the task management, in a more general way for all of your tasks that come in other ways. So your email is not a task management system in itself. Sometimes you treat it as such. Oh yeah, leave this email here because then remind me that I have to do something. Oh, someone asked me to do something, I'll leave that email there. Your inbox is an inbox. It is an incoming series of requests for your time or for your actions. There are other channels of coming into getting your time. There's people coming into your office. There's people making phone calls. There's things you're thinking of doing, right? There's stuff that comes in at meetings. There's things your spouse asks you to do, your other people ask you to do. So there's other ways of getting stuff in. Those are all different inboxes into your task management system. So we want to start treating your email inbox as an inbox. Get things out of there into your trusted system. So the GTD approach also wants to make sure you're spending as little time with each item as possible. So we want to deal with them once. And I've been guilty of this and still am at times. You read an email, I don't want to deal with this right now, and so you unread it and it goes back in your inbox. Or maybe you just leave it in your inbox and say, I'll get to it later. And then I come back to it the next day or next hour, and I've forgotten that I've decided not to deal with it, and I read it again. And oh yeah, I'm not dealing with this, and so I unread it again and leave it there. And how many times does that cycle repeat? Each one of those takes a few seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, depending on the email, but those add up, right? And that's kind of sort of more thing my brain is trying to keep track of. So you want to minimize that. You want to deal with each item in your inbox once. And so if that's your goal, then there's sort of three things you can do. You can do it. Item comes in, request your time, you do it. It's done. You can defer it into a trusted system. You can delegate it, have someone else do it. Each one of those tasks gets it out of your inbox, either into somebody else's inbox if you're delegating, it's out of the inbox, or it's going back to the person request because you've provided what they've asked for if you do it, or defer it goes into your system. So that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to set up a system within your email. Basically adds kind of this task management type package flavor to your email. If you have a task management system, great, right? Then you can take things out of that and put it in your system. So we'll talk about those different options and how you might do that. So the idea is you want to deal with things once, you want to get them into a trusted system. And really, that's it. So we'll start building that process in the next one. So I hope you found this useful, and I hope you see me next time. Bye-bye.